Firstly, we acknowledge that the topic of inclusion and diversity can involve challenging conversations. We all need an emotionally safe space to have conversations about race and racism in research.
Trying to get the etiquette in the room right as a leader in the room is unbelievably important. Not letting little casual little sort of side jokes or those little sort of bits of innuendo that creep in, which is sort of jokey and matey. It's just a caution, and we must recognize that data is more than just numbers. How do we get this qualitative stuff? Using that to understand how comfortable people feel about this. And as I've mentioned, these issues around trying to elevate the voices of underprivileged.
We've got to diversify and make our systems more equitable, and ultimately we've got to contribute to the culture change that is needed to carry a diverse workforce and to become more inclusive as an ecosystem. EDI inclusion is very, very personal. It is so close to issues of social justice, and sometimes it is so difficult to move from that individual level to a systems level approach.
We're aware that language remains a significant barrier to participation in health research for some people, and key words that underpin the message we're trying to convey in English can carry a slightly different meaning in another language, which can distort the overall message we're trying to convey.
First, looking at the literature, it's quite clear that taking a multi-pronged approach is really essential. No single strategy in the literature seems to be universally effective. It's really important that each and every piece of research that we do has a carefully considered plan to address inclusion and diversity.
So we've got questions coming in thick and fast.
Listen to what you're being told, and you start to come up with, okay, I can do this, but because I don't know everything, because you're not coming at it from a superiority perspective, you're coming at it from I'm going to take a consultative partnership approach with my network leads and with my network working groups. You're going to consult them before you activate those actions. You're going to get their buy-in.
What is in every community? There are schools, there are churches, there are pharmacies. Now, how can we capitalize on that and put research services to where people are at, especially when we're thinking about our diverse populations, when we're thinking about our underrepresented populations.
And then finally, the reason why we're doing this is because it makes better research that's more meaningful to the people who then benefit from that research. And all members of our community need to be able to benefit from it, not just certain populations because they're easy to recruit to.
The networks should really be seen as a space where we understand the pulse of the culture and the priorities that we want to tackle. So essentially leading from that lived experience, but also the purpose of those networks is to provide the perspectives that oftentimes as researchers and organizations we often overlook.
How important research is in terms of the ability for it to change lives of people who get involved. So the amount of people that I've worked with who've got involved in research who've now moved on to employment.
And how some of those issues can be in part overcome, and we produce some shocking data on some of our Parkinson's research, for instance, where out of 266 trials, only 7 had any Black participation.
And again, we know the shocking disparity in health outcomes for women from ethnic minority populations, yet the big studies and the RCTs that are coming through are not designed for inclusivity.
There's clearly so much for us to think about as a research community. What we really wanted to do is make sure that we created an environment where you could go away from it now at the end of the morning, feeling energized, feeling motivated, to take some of the ideas that you've discussed today and think about how you might apply those in your local context within the organisations